The arc of progress will not be completely uninterrupted, and we've got an example of that. So the cartoon show Arthur had an episode, Mr. Ratburn and the Special Someone. That's part of the show's 22nd season. Jesus, that show's been on a long time. And I've literally never watched any of it. But as you can see there, two of the characters are getting married, and a shocker, they're the same sex, which I did research on, and it turns out that's actually a thing that happens. And now it's a thing that's happening on this cartoon. But that does not mean that everyone everywhere will be able to see it, because Alabama Public Television has decided that they're not going to play that particular episode. We've got a director of programming there, Mckenzie, said parents have trusted Alabama Public Television for more than 50 years to provide children's programs that entertain, educate, and inspire. And now we're done with that. No, I'm kidding, that's not what he said. More importantly, although we strongly encourage parents to watch television with their children and talk about what they've learned afterwards, parents trust that their children can watch APT without their supervision. We also know that children who are younger than the target audience for Arthur also watch the program. And I get what he's saying, because if a kid was watching that without his parents, he would immediately begin tearing his eyeballs out of his skull and running into the wall until his skull shattered. What would happen if the kid saw that? He'd be like, oh, they love each other, it's a wedding.
Every time, it's the simplest question. So then what'll happen? Ask this guy who's, I don't know his position, head of the Alabama Public Television. Hey, so after the child watches it without his or her parental supervision, then what? Have him answer the question, what happens? Because then suddenly, this 6-year-old was straight, which what does that mean for a 6-year-old? Because they're not dating.
They're not hooking up.
It's crazy.
It's all hypothetical.
It's already disgusting from the first place that you're sexualizing kids, but then go ahead and then say, oh, what is he gonna suddenly become gay because Ratburn had a special friend? Like, can we see the picture again? Who's winking at the camera going, be gay, boys and girls. Come on.
I think that's what the wink is. I think that's what it is. So look, I'm going to do a little bit of speculation. In this particular case of Mckenzie, I think, so he says it's a positive message. He doesn't appear to be against it individually. I'm assuming the answer to the question, then what, from his point of view is, and then they're gonna call me a million times and they're gonna send a bunch of letters, and you don't know what these people are like. I don't know for sure that that's what he thinks. That's what I'm assuming, that people will complain and they will whine. It'll be a very small minority, but they're going to be loud about it. And so I sort of get that. But this is also, by the way, part of a pattern in this particular case. Back in 2005, Alabama Public Television pulled an episode where Buster, a bunny, visited a girl who had 2 mothers. That was not a wedding, she just happened to have 2 mothers, and they did not play that. They said at the time, Alan Pizzato back in 2005 said, our feeling is that we basically have a trust with parents about our programming. This program doesn't fit into that. That's 14 years ago. And at least in this particular case with Alabama and Arthur, there has been literally no progress in 14 years. There has been progress that shows like this continue to have characters like that. It's becoming more common, although still underrepresented, and that I think fewer and fewer people have an issue about it. But the holdouts, the dinosaurs, they're gonna be watching Arthur like a hawk until they finally pass away, and they're like, you're not gonna slip a gay couple past me.
What happens to little Timmy when he's out in the neighborhood and he sees a gay couple? Or what happens, I mean, you know what kids experience in our society all the time? Maybe straight parents, that there's domestic violence that happens. They get abused. They go to church and get abused there too. So these sanctity places that you're talking about are so awesome, and you trust your kids here and there, and they continue to get abused in these situations. We don't care about that stuff. When is the episode gonna come out where it talks about, hey, don't send Timmy to church anymore in case you really know the person who you leave him in charge with? That's extremely detrimental to someone's life. People don't recover from that. People kill themselves after that type of stuff. But we're worried about 2 drawn cartoon characters in suits at a wedding.
Yeah.
And a parent may have to say, yeah, you know what, Tim? Some people are gay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's devastating to their life.
Look,
think of the perspective, man.
This is just about control. This is about, they understand that kids learn when they're young, and kids can be curious and understanding when they're young. They can also be monsters, basically, but they are at least curious and they're understanding. And what these parents are hoping, whether they know it or not, is that they can just hold out the kids' ignorance in these areas until they get older and harden. And so at that point, when it's revealed to them that there are gay couples, maybe they will react with revulsion. or at least deep suspicion. I think that that is the hope, at least for a lot of the people who would go to the trouble of contacting Alabama Public Television because two mice that don't exist are getting married and they happen to be the same sex. They're not, they're made up, it's fictional. It's not a big issue except when we make it one. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.